2004, a 4,000-pound animal, officially Africa's deadliest, did the one thing its biology says is impossible. It didn't attack. It didn't bite. It chose to stand between a drowning child and a lethal current. This single event challenged everything we thought we knew about animal aggression. Scientists have spent decades trying to explain why the world's most aggressive land mammal refuses to kill us. The hippopotamus is simultaneously the most statistically dangerous large animal in Africa, and one of the only predators on Earth that scientists have watched choose not to finish a kill it already started. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. And the answer involves a biological secret hidden in its skin that researchers are only beginning to understand. But first, there's something about this animal's biology that makes no logical sense. Something that breaks the rules of how a predator is supposed to be built. Start with what you're actually looking at. A male hippopotamus weighs between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds. But the real weapon is the mouth. A hippo's jaw can open to 150 degrees, nearly a perfect straight line. Inside that jaw sit canine tusks that average 20 inches in length, with some recorded specimens exceeding 50 inches. Its bite force measures approximately 1,800 pounds per square inch. For context, a lion bites at roughly 650 psi. A great white shark at around 4,000 psi, but it needs water to generate that force. To put that in perspective, a hippo can snap a professional-grade canoe like a dry twig without even trying. It's not just a bite, it's a hydraulic press with teeth. There's footage from the Luangwa River in Zambia of a hippo biting a 10-foot crocodile directly through its midsection and discarding it on the riverbank like it was inconvenient. The crocodile did not survive. The hippo returned to eating grass within minutes. This is the animal responsible for an estimated 500 to 3,000 human deaths annually across sub-Saharan Africa. Statistics vary because many incidents in rural regions go unreported. It attacks canoes, charges vehicles, and has been documented biting a Land Rover so severely that the roof collapsed. But the teeth are just the distractions. The hippo's true superpower isn't what it uses to kill. It's what it uses to survive, and it's hidden in a liquid that looks like a crime scene. To understand why it refuses to kill us, we first have to understand why it looks like it's bleeding. In 2004, a young boy named Mwenya was swept into the Zambezi River during flooding. Before rescuers could reach him, a large male hippopotamus placed itself between the boy and the current, physically blocking the river flow with its body, and held that position while rescuers pulled the child to safety. Wildlife biologists documented it. They couldn't explain it. In 2011 in Uganda, a hippo was filmed pulling an antelope out of a crocodile's jaws, carrying it to the riverbank, and nudging it with its snout until it moved. The antelope survived. The hippo walked back into the water. Here's what makes this neurologically confusing. The hippopotamus is not a predator. The deadliest jaw in Africa was never designed to kill. It was designed to intimidate. It has the mouth of a monster, but the stomach of a lawnmower. When a hippo attacks a human, it almost always follows the same pattern. A single explosive strike, then withdrawal. Marine biologists studying hippo attack data note that fatalities typically occur not because the animal continues attacking, but because the initial contact is so catastrophically violent that a single bite is sufficient to cause fatal injuries. The hippo doesn't want to kill you. It wants you to understand that it could. That distinction is everything. But this restraint isn't just a mental choice. It's tied to a biological superpower hidden in their skin. A secret shield that allows them to survive the very violence they are famous for. Now here's the part that sent researchers to their labs. Researchers finally isolated the chemical compound responsible for the reddish-orange liquid that seeps from hippopotamus skin, a substance long nicknamed blood sweat, because early observers assumed it was exactly that. It isn't blood. It isn't sweat. It is something entirely unique in the animal kingdom. It's called Hipposudoric acid, a molecule found nowhere else on Earth. It functions as a sunscreen, an antibiotic, and a moisturizer all at once. The SPF equivalent is estimated between 30 and 40. The properties are potent enough that hippos, despite spending their lives in bacteria-dense river environments covered in open wounds from territorial fights, almost never develop infections. Think about that. While we spend billions on skincare, the most dangerous animal in Africa is literally sweating a medical-grade cure for infections. Imagine if your own sweat could heal a deep cut and block UV rays at the same time. That's not science fiction. It's the daily reality of a hippo. The compound also appears to have anti-inflammatory properties that activate specifically in response to injury. When a hippo is wounded, Hipposudoric acid production increases measurably around the site of the wound. It is a multifunction molecule with no structural equivalent in nature, an entirely new category of biological skin chemistry that the pharmaceutical world is desperate to replicate. The hippo produces this shield continuously from birth. Scientists still don't fully understand the mechanism that triggers increased production under stress. That question remains open. The restraint the hippopotamus shows in the wild does have a threshold. In areas where river corridors have been fragmented by agriculture, where hippos are compressed into shrinking water sources, where drought has reduced the sedge grasslands they feed on at night, the attack rates climb sharply. A hippo defending a territory of 300 meters of river is operating within the parameters its biology was built for. A hippo defending 50 meters of river against 12 competitors behaves differently. The 2004 Zambezi rescue happened in a river with a healthy, distributed hippo population. The boys' rescuers noted that the hippo appeared completely calm throughout. No threat display, no vocalizations. Just a 4,000-pound animal inserting itself between a drowning child and a current. There's no framework in behavioral biology that fully accounts for that. What the hippopotamus reveals is something genuinely uncomfortable about how we categorize animals. We built a mental file that says, dangerous equals predator equals threat. The hippo is the largest hole in that file. It is statistically more likely to kill you than almost anything else on this continent. And it carries a biochemical system in its skin that human medicine can't replicate. And it has been documented, repeatedly, choosing to protect rather than destroy. The deadliest jaw in Africa belongs to an animal that eats grass. The blood sweat seeping from its skin might one day end up in a wound treatment on a hospital shelf. The boy in the Zambezi didn't survive because of luck. He survived because he met an animal that understands its own power better than we do. The deadliest jaw in Africa belongs to an animal that eats grass and chooses, every single night, not to be the monster we've labeled it. If this made you see something familiar in an entirely different way, subscribe, because the next animal on this channel is one you've probably fed by hand, and what's happening inside its biology should make your skin crawl.